My girlfriend sent me a birthday text saying her ex got me a gift, 'cause he cares more than she does. So I opened it in front of all her friends, and it was lingerie in her size with a note for her. And the look on their faces when they realized it happened on my 30th birthday, right in my own apartment in front of 15 people. I was standing there, surrounded by my girlfriend's friends, most of whom I barely knew, when she handed me a gift. Navy wrapping paper, silver bow, too perfect to be casual. I remember thinking, wow, she actually put in effort this year. Then my phone buzzed. A text. From her. Surprise. It's not from me. It's from your ex. He still cares about you more than I do. LOL. I read it twice, confused, thinking it was a weird joke. When I looked up, Sierra, was grinning, waiting. Everyone had their phones out, ready to capture my reaction. Interesting, I said. My voice didn't even sound like mine. She smirked. It's funny, right? Just open it. So I did. I tore the paper. Tissue fluttered to the floor. And there, in my hands, was a box of deep red lace lingerie. Her size, still tagged. The card inside said, Thursday, 8 p.m. Presidential Suite. Wear this and nothing else. Can't wait to have you back where you belong. Silence. One of her friends gasped. Another whispered, holy shit. I looked at Sierra. Anyone want to explain why my girlfriend's ex sent her $200 lingerie with a hotel reservation for tonight? Her smile vanished. It's not what you think, she stammered. It's a prank. He's just... Really? I checked the card again. Because the reservation says tonight at 8 p.m., which was 40 minutes ago. You were supposed to be there. Her best friend, Tasha, tried to stand. Maybe we should go. Nah, I said. Stay. This is getting good. I turned back to Sierra. How'd he even get my address to send this here? Unless you gave it to him. Or unless you mixed them up, your place and mine. Her lip trembled. Baby, please. Which hotel? I asked. What? Which hotel was he waiting at? She started crying. You're embarrassing me. I'm embarrassing you? I held up the lingerie. You handed me this. You texted me that cute little message. Everyone here saw it. One of her guy friends tried to jump in. Bro, maybe take this to the bedroom. Why? I said, my voice breaking. She planned this party. She wanted a show. Sierra reached for the box, but I pulled it back. This costs like $250 minimum. Your ex dropped serious money. Shame to waste it. I tossed it to her. Go ahead. You're already late. She went pale. I'm not going anywhere. Sure you are, I said quietly. He's waiting. Tasha's face said it all she knew. Everyone out, I said finally. Party's over. They scrambled. Sierra tried to stay. You can't kick me out. This is my home too. I pointed toward the door. Check the lease. Then I walked to the bedroom, locked the door, and sat on the floor shaking. I took photos of everything, the lingerie, the note, her text, and emailed it all to myself. Then I picked up her phone, still on the counter, and called him. 2 rings. Hey baby, where are you? This isn't your baby, I said. This is her boyfriend. The one who pays for the apartment you just sent lingerie to. Click. He hung up. I texted him after. You can have her. I'm done. But you're getting a liar who cheats and is about to be homeless. Then I just sat there in the dark, staring at the clock. 9:12 p.m. Wondering how long she'd been lying to my face, and how far she'd already gone. Sierra and I met 2 years ago in Nashville. I just transferred there for work, managing logistics for a regional construction firm. She was a stylist at some boutique in Hillsborough Village. Bright, confident, always talking about manifesting big energy. The kind of woman who could walk into a room and make everyone turn. We met at a rooftop bar through mutual friends. She complimented my watch, laughed at my bad jokes, and within a week she was spending nights at my apartment. It moved fast, maybe too fast, but at the time it felt easy. She'd make me playlists, cook with me, post photos captioned, "He's my calm in the chaos." I didn't know how true that chaos part was. By the 3rd month, she'd quietly started staying over full-time. Said her lease was ending, and it'd just make sense for her to move in. I said sure. I was paying for a 2-bedroom, why not? First, it was fine. She decorated, bought new sheets, lit candles everywhere. We felt domestic. But the cracks started small. Forgotten bills, weird text notifications, nights she'd stay late at work and come home smelling like a bar. When I'd ask, she'd laugh. Babe, I'm with clients. You think I'm sneaking around? I didn't. Not yet. The first real red flag came 6 months in. I found a hotel receipt in her purse. One night, downtown Hyatt. When I asked, she claimed she and her best friend, Tasha, had a self-care spa night. I wanted to believe her. I'd seen her cry before when accused of something, and she turned those tears on like a weapon. I can't believe you don't trust me, she said, her voice cracking perfectly on cue. You're starting to sound like my ex. That was the first time I heard about him, Derek. Supposedly a controlling, jealous guy who wouldn't let her breathe. I remember thinking, damn, no wonder she's defensive. I didn't realize she was just rewriting the story before I ever got to hear the truth. She started bringing up Derek more often. How he still messaged sometimes. How she just ignored him. Once, I saw a preview on her phone. You looked amazing today. She said it was from a coworker. I knew the name. It wasn't. Still, I let it go. Because that's what you do when you want something to work. Fast forward to month 16. My job got busier. I was doing 50-hour weeks, sometimes more. Sierra cut back her shifts to focus on creative projects. Translation. She stayed home all day scrolling TikTok, calling it research. She said she felt disconnected. I thought it was because I was working too much. I suggested a weekend trip. She said no. She needed space. That was 3 weeks before my birthday. The week of, she started acting different, overly sweet, clingy almost. Talking about how she wanted to do something special. I figured maybe she felt guilty for being distant. When she told me she invited a few friends over for my birthday, I didn't think twice. What I didn't know was that while she was planning my surprise, she was also texting Derek. The same Derek who, according to her, was blocked. The same Derek who booked a hotel suite for the same night. The same Derek who'd apparently been back in town for work. And now I couldn't stop thinking about that hotel reservation. If she was supposed to be there at 8 p.m., that meant she had every intention of going. Until something changed. Something that made her decide to give me that box instead of sneaking out to meet him. The part that really haunted me, though. She'd written that text. It's from my ex. He still cares about you more than I do. LOL. Like she wanted me to know. Like it was some kind of game. But I wasn't laughing. Because the next morning, when I checked her laptop again, that 3:47 a.m. email she'd sent said more than I expected. It wasn't to Derek. It was to herself. A draft saved, not sent. Just one line in the body. If he finds out the real reason, everything's over. The morning after the party, I woke up to the smell of cheap perfume and silence. Sierra's side of the bed was cold, but her keys were still on the counter. Her laptop sat open on the kitchen island, glowing with that unfinished email. She hadn't gone far. At 9 a.m., I heard the door unlock. She walked in wearing sunglasses, mascara streaked down her cheeks, clutching a paper bag from the cafe down the street. I brought breakfast, she said, like last night never happened. I didn't say a word. I just turned the screen toward her. The lingerie, the note, the text, all laid out in photos. Her face went pale. You're still mad. Mad, I said quietly. Try humiliated. Try disgusted. She started crying. It was a joke, baby. Derek sent that to mess with us. I didn't even know about the hotel thing. Sure. And you just happened to hand it to me in front of everyone. She dropped the bag on the counter. You're twisting it. You're making me out to be a liar? A cheater? You don't need my help for that. Then came the line that changed everything. If you'd just given me more attention, this wouldn't have happened. I actually laughed. So you cheated because I work? No, she snapped. Because you stopped seeing me. You're always tired, distracted. I cut her off. You slept with him, Sierra. That's not on me. She covered her face. It was 2 months. We ran into each other at a coffee shop. It wasn't supposed to happen again. How many times? She hesitated. 6. Hotels. She nodded. I didn't yell. I just leaned on the counter, suddenly too calm. You're moving out. Her hands dropped. You can't just. I can. The lease is in my name. Her voice broke. Where am I supposed to go? I shrugged. Ask Derek. He's good with hotel bookings. She lunged for her phone, probably to call him, but stopped mid-dial. That told me everything. He wasn't answering. By the weekend, I had boxed up her stuff. Friday night, she sobbed on the couch while I worked on my laptop like she was a stranger in my house. Saturday, I went to the gym. Around noon, I got a notification my Ring camera. Sierra was outside with 2 guys loading things into a truck. I watched as her brother tried to take my speaker. That's mine, I said through the intercom. Put it back. She jumped like she'd seen a ghost. We're just taking my stuff. Then don't touch what's not yours. They argued with me through the camera until finally leaving, slamming the door behind them. Sunday night, I came home to find a note on the counter. You destroyed us over pride. Hope you enjoy dying alone. She Venmo requested me $400 for shared utilities, $300 for emotional damages, and $150 for groceries. I declined all of them. By Monday, her version of events started spreading. Her friends were posting cryptic stories. Men love to play victim until they get caught. Then one of them, Tasha, texted me screenshots from their group chat. Sierra was telling everyone I'd physically thrown her out and kept her belongings hostage. But the screenshots told a different story. Sierra. He's going to regret humiliating me. I can make him lose everything. Tasha. What are you talking about? Sierra. He thinks he's smarter. He's not. The next day, I got a call from my building manager. She came by, he said. Tried to force her way in. Said you stole her stuff. She's banned now. I thought that was the end of it. But Sierra wasn't done. Because later that week, my office receptionist buzzed me. There's a woman here asking for you, she said. Says she's your girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend, I corrected. Tell her to leave. She didn't. She screamed in the lobby until security escorted her out. My boss saw the whole thing. I thought it was just fallout, heartbreak, desperation. But that night, when I got home, there was an envelope slid under my door. Inside was a photo. Me, sitting in my car, from across the street. Written on the back in red ink, you don't get to erase me. I didn't sleep that night. I kept staring at that photo, the angle, the distance, the handwriting. It wasn't random. It was planned. The next morning, I went to work early, half expecting her to show up again. She didn't. But by 10 a.m., HR called me into the office. There's been a complaint, the rep said carefully. An anonymous email accusing you of stalking and harassing your ex-girlfriend. It claims you're violent. I felt my stomach drop. Anonymous. She nodded. We traced it to a burner Gmail account, but it included photos. She turned the screen toward me. There they were, screenshots of texts. My number. Only I'd never sent them. You'll regret this. I'm watching you. You can't hide from me. Every single one was faked. My name at the top, timestamps perfectly spaced. She's trying to get me fired, I said flatly. The HR rep looked uneasy. We're not taking action right now, but document everything. By the time I got home that night, my hands were shaking. I opened my evidence folder, screenshots, photos, text threads, Ring footage. But as I scrolled, something new caught my eye. A message had been sent from my own email account to one of my clients. We need to meet privately. Don't tell anyone. Attached was an image of a hotel confirmation. Presidential suite. Same as before. That's when it hit me. She hadn't just been trying to ruin my reputation. She'd hacked into my email. The same email she used to help me manage bills. I confronted her through text. Stay the hell out of my accounts. Minutes later, a reply came. You don't know what you're talking about. You crossed the line, Sierra. I crossed it a long time ago. Then she blocked me. I didn't hear from her again for a few days, but people around me did. My barber texted, "Hey man, some girl came in asking what time you usually show up." My gym manager emailed me. "A woman's been hanging around the parking lot in a gray Honda. Says she's waiting for her boyfriend." That's when I filed the first police report. The officer said it was civil harassment, but he advised I start keeping a timeline. I did date, time, witness, screenshot, everything. A week later, she found a new way to get under my skin. A delivery arrived at my apartment. Plain box, no return address. Inside, my favorite hoodie, torn down the middle, soaked in what smelled like cheap red wine. There was a note. "Now we're even." Even for what? That night, I dug deeper into her old laptop, the one she forgot to log out of. Inside a hidden folder were screenshots of messages between her and Derek. But they weren't just flirty texts. They were plans. "Derek, you sure he'll believe it?" "Sierra, he will. He's predictable. I know exactly how he'll react." "Derek? And the email?" "Sierra. Sent. HR should get it by morning." "Derek? Perfect. Once he's out, we're in the clear." I just stared at the screen. Once he's out. Out of what? Out of my job? Out of my apartment? Out of my life? Then I saw the folder name, Proof. Inside were copies of my pay stubs, bank statements, and saved rental documents, all labeled Target. That's when I realized this wasn't about heartbreak or humiliation. This was a setup. She wasn't trying to ruin my reputation out of revenge. She was trying to take something from me, and I was about to find out exactly what. I almost dropped the phone when my landlord said her name. "Lease transfer," I asked, pretending to stay calm. He hesitated. "Yeah, the request came through this morning. He signed with your name on it. Said you were moving out and your partner was taking over the lease." Looked legit, but I figured I'd check. My heart pounded. "I didn't sign anything." "Didn't think so," he said. "I'll flag it as fraud." When we hung up, I just sat there staring at the wall, trying to breathe. She'd actually tried to forge my signature, to take over the apartment. That's when everything clicked. The plans. The target. She wasn't trying to humiliate me. She was trying to replace me. And if she couldn't, she'd ruin me first. That night, I went full forensic mode. Pulled up her old cloud drive, the one she forgot to unlink from her phone. Hundreds of files. Screenshots, fake emails, even voice memos of her rehearsing tearful speeches. He hit me. He threatened me. I'm scared. I saved every single one to an encrypted drive and sent copies to a private backup. I even labeled the folder, Defense. By midnight, I had a plan. Step 1. Protect my job. I emailed HR directly, attaching everything, the fake texts, the forged email, the police report number. Asked them to keep a file documenting harassment and impersonation attempts. Step 2. Protect my identity. I changed every password, froze my credit, and locked down all my accounts. I even went to the bank and put a verbal password on file. Step 3. Turn the spotlight on her. If she wanted to play dirty, I'd show the world what she really was. I drafted one message to Tasha, her ex-best friend, the one who'd sent me those group chat screenshots. "I need your help. Sierra's trying to impersonate me. She's faking documents." Tasha replied almost immediately, "You're not the first she's done that to." That froze me. "What do you mean?" She pulled something similar with her last ex, claimed abuse, forged texts, tried to get his job involved. Only difference is he didn't have proof. That's when I decided to build mine airtight. I started compiling everything, her emails, screenshots, ring footage, forged lease. I wrote a statement timeline down to the minute. If she wanted a war, I'd fight it clean, legal, and public. I even printed a hard copy binder titled Case Monroe. The next morning, I dropped it off at the courthouse and filed for a restraining order. Attached 30 pages of evidence. The clerk looked through it and said, "This is a lot." "Yeah," I said quietly. "She's just getting started." Over the next few days, things went quiet. Too quiet. Then I got an email from a burner account. The subject line said, "You think you're safe?" The body read, "You stole from me. You lied. You ruined my life. I'll make you regret ever touching me." No name. But I didn't need one. I forwarded it straight to the detective handling my report. He replied an hour later, "Keep documenting. You're doing everything right." Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't working alone anymore. The "we" in those messages to Derek echoed in my head. Once he's out, we're in the clear. Were they still in contact? Or was someone else helping her now? That question got answered 3 days later. Friday night, 11:42 p.m. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "We know where you park," followed by a photo of my car, taken that evening. Same gray Honda in the reflection. Same handwriting on the dash note. But this time, under the photo, it didn't say "You don't get to erase me." It said, "You shouldn't have looked through her laptop." I didn't sleep. I kept replaying that message, "You shouldn't have looked through her laptop." Only 3 people could have known that: me, Sierra, and Tasha. I told her everything. Sent her screenshots. Asked for help. It hit me like a gut punch. I'd given her the playbook. Saturday morning, I called Tasha. Straight to voicemail. Texted her, "You working with her?" No response. By noon, I got another text, different number again. "You think you're smarter. You're not." She told me everything. I froze. The contact photo popped up. Not Derek. Not Sierra. It was Tasha. For a second, I thought maybe it was Sierra using her phone. But then another message came through. "You humiliated her in front of everyone. You ruined her life. You think you're some hero? You're a narcissist like all of them." Then, seconds later, "You should have seen what he did to her after you called." "He." I typed back. "Derek." No response. I scrolled through her social media, and that's when I saw it. A photo from 3 nights ago. Tasha and Sierra, together at a bar, smiling. Caption: "Real ones stick around when everyone else runs." That was it. They teamed up. Tasha wasn't just her friend. She was her fixer now. And if the text about what he did to her after you called was true, then maybe Derek wasn't even in the picture anymore. Maybe something had gone seriously wrong. I needed proof. That evening, I drove downtown and parked a block away from Sierra's old apartment. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. The windows were dark except for one flickering blue light from a TV. I sat there for 20 minutes before the door opened. Sierra came out with a trash bag. Thinner, messier, hair chopped short. She looked nothing like the woman who used to plan dinner parties and pose for selfies. But she wasn't alone. Tasha followed her, whispering something as they both looked around like they expected someone to be watching. Sierra dropped the bag in the bin and turned toward the streetlight. That's when I saw it. A bruise across her jaw. For a second, guilt stabbed me. Maybe Derek really had hurt her. Maybe this wasn't all some sick revenge. But then Tasha pulled out her phone, snapped a photo of the bruise and said, "Perfect. They'll eat this up." Sierra laughed. #justice? "Exactly," Tasha said. "You'll get sympathy. He'll lose his job, and we'll both come out ahead." That was all I needed to hear. I recorded the whole thing from my dashcam. Date, time, audio, everything. I drove straight home, shaking so bad I almost dropped my keys trying to unlock the door. It was never just Sierra. It was Tasha too. She'd been feeding her, helping her fake evidence, rewriting the story so I'd look like the villain. But one line from that video haunted me more than anything else. "You'll get sympathy. He'll lose his job, and we'll both come out ahead. Not you. Not, I'll help you. We'll both come out ahead." Which meant there was something in it for Tasha too. Something I hadn't seen yet. The next morning, I found out what it was. An email from my HR department. "Please confirm your resignation. We received a signed statement this weekend. Effective immediately." Attached was a PDF with my name on it, and Tasha's digital signature as witness. Monday morning, 7:14 a.m. My hands were still shaking when I opened that email again. My name, my company header, my fake resignation. Signed Evan Cross. Witness, Tasha Linwood. They'd actually filed it. HR said it came from my company email. I hadn't even been online that weekend. I felt sick. The more I thought about it, the more it clicked into place. All the weird coincidences, the forged lease, the stolen logins. It wasn't just emotional revenge anymore. It was strategic. Someone had coached Sierra through this. Someone who knew how to weaponize paperwork, timelines, and fake receipts. And that someone was Tasha. I spent the morning digging through the metadata on that forged PDF. It listed an IP address, registered to a boutique marketing firm downtown. Guess who worked there? Tasha Linwood, Client Relations Manager. When I called the firm pretending to be a potential client, the receptionist casually mentioned they handled brand crises for influencers. Reputation management, she said. That was it. Tasha wasn't doing this out of loyalty. She was profiting from it. Later that day, one of Sierra's old coworkers DM'd me, "Hey, just a heads up. Sierra's been talking about this documentary she's filming about narcissistic abuse. Says she's working with a PR rep to share her story." I asked for screenshots. She sent them. Sierra's post read, "This year broke me, but I'm reclaiming my truth. With help from at Linwood Strategy, I'm telling my story. Stay tuned. Hashtag Justice for Survivors at Linwood Strategy." Tasha's firm. It wasn't heartbreak. It wasn't even about revenge anymore. It was content. Tasha had turned Sierra's meltdown into a monetized narrative, a fake victim campaign they could pitch, sell, and brand. Sierra was the survivor. I was the villain, and they were both cashing in. That bruise I saw on Sierra's jaw? I replayed the dashcam footage frame by frame. Makeup smudged, too clean a pattern. The edges blended unevenly. It was painted on. They were fabricating everything. The fake texts, the false police report, the resignation letter, even the photo she'd left under my door, all part of a story arc they were building to release online. But the most horrifying part wasn't that they were faking abuse for clicks. It was the timing. Sierra's documentary teaser dropped on TikTok the next morning. It started with slow piano music, clips of her crying on the couch, screenshots of our messages edited out of context. Then came her voice. "He told me I'd regret ever meeting him. He tracked my car. He hacked my accounts. I just want to be safe." Hashtag Stand with Sierra trended in under 3 hours. My inbox flooded. Strangers calling me a monster. People DMing me threats. My company's PR team panicked. Then Tasha posted a follow-up. "Proud of my client for reclaiming her truth after enduring psychological abuse. If you or someone you know needs help, reach out." She tagged Sierra. And the firm's website. It was a marketing campaign. They were weaponizing a fake trauma story to build a brand. And I was their villain, the face of everything people wanted to hate. I sat there watching my name go viral, wondering how two people could be so cold, so deliberate, so calculated. And then I remembered Sierra's email draft. The one that started all of this. "If he finds out the real reason, everything's over." Now I knew what she meant. The real reason she did it wasn't love, wasn't rage, wasn't heartbreak. It was profit. She and Tasha had built an entire fake victim narrative months before my birthday. Derek had been a pawn used to bait me to create a scandal worth monetizing. They wanted to destroy me publicly so they could sell the story. Every fight, every tear, every piece of evidence I collected, all of it had been scripted in advance. And they almost pulled it off. Almost. Because what they didn't know was that I had recorded that night outside her apartment. The perfect bruise moment. The whole conversation. And I was about to use it. Friday morning, I walked into my lawyer's office carrying a hard drive labeled Case Monroe. 38 gigabytes of evidence. Photos, videos, screen recordings, text threads, metadata, everything. She listened quietly as I explained the setup. The forged lease, the fake resignation, the social media smear campaign, the documentary. Then I showed her the dashcam footage, Sierra and Tasha laughing about the bruise, talking about hashtags and sponsorships. My lawyer leaned back, eyebrows raised. That's fraud, defamation, and impersonation. And depending on what they've made off the video, wire fraud too. We can bury them with this. We filed within 48 hours. Cease and desist letters went to both Sierra and Tasha, and a formal defamation notice hit the PR firm's inbox by Monday. By Wednesday, Tasha's company website was under maintenance. By Friday, the documentary teaser disappeared from every platform. But the damage was already done. My name had been trending. People had screenshotted everything. So I went public carefully, methodically. I posted a single video. Calm voice. No theatrics. I laid out the timeline, showed clips of Sierra admitting the affair, screenshots of the fake emails, and the dashcam footage. Then I ended with this. If you believe in justice, believe in evidence. Not hashtags. In 2 days, it had over 4 million views. The comments flipped overnight. Holy crap. She staged the whole thing. He's got receipts for everything. That PR girl's done. And she was. Tasha's firm imploded within a week. Clients dropped her. Her boss fired her. And a local outlet ran a piece titled Influencer Scandal. When fabricated victimhood goes viral, Sierra vanished from social media. Her accounts went private, then disappeared. My lawyer kept pushing. We subpoenaed the marketing payments, the sponsorship invoices, the ad revenue. Turned out they'd already made nearly $12,000 in partnership deals, off the abused survivor angle. We froze it all. When the settlement came through, I didn't want the money. I donated every cent to a domestic violence fund in Sierra's name. Let her live with that. 3 months later, the court finalized a permanent restraining order. Tasha's firm folded, and Sierra left the state. I heard she tried starting over under a different username, but people recognized her voice. The internet doesn't forget. As for me, I repainted the apartment, got rid of the couch where she used to cry, bought a new bed, a quieter life. I started seeing someone again, not rushing it this time. She knows everything. When I told her the story, she said, "You didn't just survive that. You outsmarted it." Maybe. Sometimes I still wake up expecting another fake email, another knock at the door. But it never comes. The quiet feels real now. Last week, I got a reminder from Facebook. On this day, your birthday party. The night it all started. I stared at the photo for a long time. 15 people smiling. Sierra standing next to me, holding that navy-wrapped box. I deleted it. Then I smiled a little. Because yeah, she tried to destroy me for clicks, and I turned her script into her downfall. The kind of ending she never planned for. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's just the truth, spoken calmly, with receipts. And in the end, the truth is what ruins liars the most.